The third script, Run, written by Tim Trewartha, underwent quite an evolution. Originally, it was planned to be the second story behind Brendan's opening script, Possession. But that was an entirely different story. Tim's original script dealt with the Doctor and Perdita fleeing the dying world Mortis, where the Universal Guardian had stranded them. But when they entered the TARDIS, they did not find the console room, but instead a mysterious old movie theater. And the Doctor and Perdita ended up stepping into classic films like Frankenstein and Metropolis and interacting with the characters within. It was basically a mystery script, with the final reveal being that the TARDIS itself had created these holographic films as a defense mechanism after the Universal Guardian had stolen the Eye of Harmony. Brendan read that script and thought it was unusual and it was interesting, but it wasn't quite what we needed. He felt we should go for a big action story, something to keep the audience on the edge of their seats. So Tim and I went back to the drawing board and created the concept of the TARDIS plunging into a burning hot star, with only so much time before the Doctor, Perdita, and the time ship itself would be burnt to a crisp. We created Starfire, these burning hot flames that would relentlessly pursue the Doctor and Perdita down the TARDIS corridors, preventing them from retracing their steps and keeping them forever on the run. But as the script was being written, I noticed that it needed something more. We needed to increase the tension to build momentum even further. So I added the character of the Gorvex, an energy leech, that was so lethal when it's touched that it could literally drain the vitality from any of its victims. Brendan really liked this script, but he was keen to have the Universal Guardian play a major role, as he had not appeared in the second story, Proclamation. So Tim and I decided that the Universal Guardian would be the catalyst for events. He would be the one, in fact, who had pushed the TARDIS off course and aimed it toward the burning hot star, allowing the Guardian to torment the Doctor and threaten him with not only his own death, or the death of his companion and his TARDIS, but also with the death of the entire population of Earth itself, as we discovered that the burning hot star is in fact the sun of the Milky Way system. As I went through the edit on this script, I couldn't help but notice that Tim really did a beautiful job. It was very well written, very exciting. But Tim does have a natural wonderful sense of humor. He just has this gift for wit, making for a very funny read. And as much as I enjoyed it, I did notice at a certain point that some of the humor did have to be pulled out, simply because when you're writing an action script, if you put too much humor into it, it begins to undercut the tension and undercut the action. So I did have to trim that humor a little bit, but I did try to preserve as much of it as possible, simply because Tim really does have a wonderful sense of humor and does keep you chuckling as you move along through the story. But overall, I think we got a great action story out of it, and we also hit Brendan's request that we try to keep this one centered inside the TARDIS itself as a production consideration, simply because Proclamation had so many sets that Brendan wanted to keep this one just a little more isolated and as an action pressure cooker.